Hi ladies, I'm Pidge.
And I'm Moen.
Welcome to the Night Shift Court podcast. We are two shift-working fantasy book lovers and love nothing more than leaving reality behind for a bookish adventure.
Join us as we go under the mountain to discuss our favourite fantasy fiction tales and the authors behind them.
Come with us to explore the stories, one shift at a time. Hi ladies.
Welcome back.
You reminded me of Hey Hey from Moana. Have you seen Moana?
Yes.
Yeah.
Only once though.
Oh, I love it.
Have you watched The Matrix yet?
No, actually I have not.
Right, well.
I've been very busy.
Turn the recording off.
I did go to the cinema to watch It Ends With Us.
Yes.
Though.
Do you want to sum it up in 30 seconds or less?
No.
Oh.
No, I don't. I had a fabulous time.
Because you were in gold class?
Yes, with our dear bestie. But it was very confronting, but also a great film. So,
Well, that's 30 seconds or less. So well done there.
Okay.
Yeah.
So if you want to go and see it, then make sure you do your research first and go.
Yes.
Do yourself a favour and go to gold class. But also, it's very dark in there.
Yes.
We discussed earlier that I ordered a cheesecake and I couldn't see what I was eating. I had no idea.
You needed your big softie.
Yeah, I did. I really did. Anyway, there was people in there wearing Ugg boots. I thought you'd like dressed up to go to gold class.
Oh, I dress up to go to gold class,
Yeah.
but the others don't.
Oh, no, they're wearing
The
Ugg
commoners.
boots and like a blankie.
Yes.
Like
Look-
fabulous idea though.
But you could take a nice pashmina. You don't
Yes.
have to take a crusty old blanket.
Yeah, they don't give you blankets anymore.
No, you did ask.
No,
Oh,
but
you
they
didn't
don't.
you didn't want
I
the blanket,
also
but you
don't
thought
want the blanket.
Yes.
Yeah.
I mean, people probably did get a bit frisky in the infancy of gold class.
I reckon
didn't
they did. Yeah,
Yes,
I reckon they
yes.
did. That's why
They
I
got
had
a
to
bit-
take them away.
They got a bit Reese and Feyre on the gold class chairs.
Didn't they? Anyway, here we are. Chapters. No, episode 32. Chapters 31 to 35.
Yes. So last we left off, two pesky Highburn, what are they called?
Ravens.
Yes, two pesky Highburn ravens have entered and tried to whisk Feyre and Nesta away.
Specifically Nesta. She's the
Specifically,
one.
yeah.
Yeah.
Feyre is the bonus.
Yeah.
Feyre tells them they've made quite a large mistake.
Indeed, they have.
Indeed. And she grabs Nesta and bolts. They're heading down instead of up, which
yes.
is rather problematic considering what we think might be down there.
I couldn't stop thinking about it. I could not stop thinking while I was reading this. I was like, get to whatever is down there. Like I almost skipped over everything to just be like, what is down at the bottom of the library? I don't care about the ravens. Show me the goods.
Show me the goods.
Yeah.
Do you know what this reminds me of? And I'm going to break into song here, so prepare.
Receiving.
Don't you open that trap door.
Yes. Yeah, I'm with you.
I love the trapdoor. Anyway, so they're hootling down the stairs. The ravens are talking to them as they hunt for them.
Creepy.
Very. So I'm not sure if it's just echoey or if they can throw their voice or I don't know.
They're very confident though, aren't they?
Yeah.
Like to just like chat while they're following you.
That's right. And they're telling them all about the mortal queens. And they're saying that the youngest queen was the first to go into the cauldron. And the cauldron knew something had been taken from it. So it's rather angry. The cauldron gave the queen immortality she wanted, but it took something from her, and that was her youth.
The cauldron's so petty, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's a petty little thing.
It is. It's not little, remember. It's the bath.
Well, yes, actually, you're right.
Yes.
But it's like got the attitude
It's
of
like
a
your
petty
spa.
16-year-old.
It's like your spa, you know.
it
It's
is
got
good
3
spa.
legs.
Yeah, it does have 3 legs. Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel like people are now picturing like the cauldron in my ensuite.
Let's let them picture that, shall we?
Okay, yeah.
If you could have a cauldron
I
instead
would.
of what you have, would you?
Absolutely.
Oh, fuck. Can you?
My whole house would be Harry Potter themed.
yes.
No denying.
Slytherin, common room, come at me.
Oh, could you imagine what the... Oh, yeah.
Let's not get ahead of ourselves.
anyway.
We've got a podcast to run.
Yeah.
So, yes, this This poor, beautiful queen comes out and the cauldron has stolen her youth. She came out a withered crone. And now all of the other queens won't go in the cauldron.
I mean, fair.
Yeah, absolutely.
I'm with you there.
Yeah. So Feyre realises that Elaine's been trying to warn them all this time, so it was quite valuable information. She had obviously seen this or sensed this, and when Feyre put 2 and 2 together, she realised it was the ravens that Elain was speaking about.
Yeah.
She's like, had this epiphany in and amongst all this chaos that they're currently undergoing. She gets Nesta to run for it, and then she blocks the path that she's taken so that they can't follow Nesta out.
She pushes the stacks down, doesn't she? Like the traditional, like push over one library stack and it like
Dominoes.
knocks the other ones. Yeah.
Brilliant.
Blocks Nesta's escape, but it also blocks Feyre's way out
Correct.
as well.
Yes. Feyre is in the dark and is begging for something or someone to help her.
She's optimistic though. Have you ever been in a situation where you're like, I'll just beg?
I mean, what hope has she got now? Like her exit's blocked. She knows not what is down there.
In the dark.
Is she begging Rhys? Cassian? Azriel's shadows? Anyone. But she hears a voice, and the voice asks her, is she the High Lady? And of course she's like, fucking yeah, I am actually.
Next question.
When she says yes, it asks, what will she give it to help her? And Feyre asks, well, what do you want?
It's all about the bargains, isn't
Yeah,
it?
what do you want? And the voice says, the stone and wall hear all and speak all. It heard her desire to wield the carver, to trade with him. It says that it knew the carver long ago. She asks again what it wants, and it says for her to send it company to tell it about life. And Feyre's like, okay.
Say less.
Say less. It then asks if it should kill the two Fae. And Feyre's like, that'd be great. Thanks.
It appears innocent, doesn't it, this monster? Like,
Yes.
obviously the history that she knows of the thing that is down here is that even Cassian was scared of it, and he's never scared of anything. He's the general of the Night Court, right?
Correct.
Nothing scares him. So she's like down there thinking there's something awful running around, and this thing is like almost acting like a child.
Yeah.
Like, you know, like,
What do you want? Will you give me this?
yeah.
Like, if you give me a lolly, I'll do what you want. Sort of thing.
Like very innocent. Like, should I kill them? Like,
Yeah.
And we're all thinking, yeah,
that'd be good. It's a very benign bargain as far as bargains go. It's
Yes.
like, sure, I'll send you company. That is the most non-specific bargain I've ever made in my life. I could send you Amren.
Yes.
Amren's probably not going to go down there, but do you know what I mean? Like, she
Yeah.
could send a bunny.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Anything.
Anything.
Yeah.
The Thing, who has now agreed to kill these two Fae, tells Feyre to close her eyes, and she does. And then Cassian appears, and he tells her, don't look, and he takes her and Nesta out.
Yeah. I do love this bit because she describes it as like strong, rough hands grabbing her and like dragging her away, saying like, don't look, don't look, don't look. And obviously he's looking because he's the one that's taking her. And then when they get to Nesta, she explains how she starts coming towards him like she's in a trance and she can't stop herself, and he just like opens his arm and she just like fits perfectly in there on the other side, and whoosh, up into the sky that they go, which is very sweet. But we do learn later, and I'm going to give a spoiler alert here.
Spoiler alert.
We do learn later that the name of this creature at the bottom of the library is Bryaxis. Again, I love myself a little bit of research into names, and I did look into the origin of Bryaxis as a name. And again, it is Greek. It's always Greek. This is meant for you, babe.
Yes, I know.
Yeah.
Yes, most good things that come out of Greece are in fact Greek.
Yes.
Ding dong, dickhead.
Oh my God.
Okay, I need to get my shit together.
Okay. So, as you'll recall, Greek mythology is a huge, I think Sarah draws, thoughts from it.
Yes.
Which is great. I love that. I love it when people write about things that already exist and make their own take on it.
Yeah,
you know,
me
love
too.
that. Very intelligent, you know, lots of research obviously behind it. She wouldn't be an expert in it. Anyway, Bryaxis in Greek mythology is known for being a sculptor. Right? And you think, oh, okay, righto. And in fact, he was one of 4 sculptors who were employed to carve the tomb of the king, which you're thinking, oh, yeah, okay, interesting, right? But is it a coincidence that in the war there are 4 significant members of the Night Court that do indeed carve the tomb of the king?
Ooh.
Yeah.
I'm on board.
Yeah. That's all. Reese arrives.
You're very clever, aren't you? You're very clever. You're like, where can I take this? Oh,
Yeah. That's where I'm going to take it.
straight to the hoop.
Yeah. Reese arrives and the mountain shudders as he lands in the pit. He's very mad. We don't often see Reese mad.
I like it.
I don't mind it.
Oh, okay.
He puts up a wall of darkness between himself and Feyre.
Yeah.
So that she can't see. And then he turns around and walks straight through the darkness. Cassian takes Feyre and Nesta, grabs them both, as we talked about, and launches into the sky. And he takes them to the family library, which is high above in the House of Wind. Reese arrives and his hands are covered in blood. He straight away notices the tattoo around Feyre's arm, and it's described as a slim band of black iron. So I picture it as just like a straight,
solid black.
yeah,
straight line.
solid filled in black line.
Yeah,
all the way
same.
around. He asks her what she promised it, so he immediately recognises it as a bargain.
Yeah.
And you know, he says, "What did you promise it?" She tells him, but he double checks that she didn't promise Bryaxis her company. It was just company.
Some company.
Yeah.
A rabbit.
That's right, a rabbit. He turns his attention to Nesta and he says to her, "Highburn hunts you because of what you took from the cauldron. The queens want you dead for vengeance, for robbing them of immortality. What did you take?" And Nesta says she doesn't know. And then they kind of leave that, which was interesting to me because I was like, I'd be asking her more because like she's quite shaken right now and it's a great opportunity to get some information from her because she clearly normally has such a hard exterior.
Do you think Reese has looked into her mind and
No, I don't
you
think so.
think he can't because she's cauldron maid?
Well, I think a bit of that, but I also think that it might not be obvious. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like to him. So Feyre questions about the wards and Reese explains that Highburn used a fleeting spell to cleave the wards around Valaris. It's a spell very strong and can only be used once. Reese is mad that he was able to get through the wards in the first place, and Feyre tries to calm him down by explaining that no one got hurt and they actually got some additional information from the Ravens that decided to speak while they were chasing them about the fact that Nesta did in fact take something, about what happened to the young queen, and the fact that Nesta is a higher priority to the King of Highburn than Feyre is.
Yes.
Which is interesting because she's probably one of the most powerful now that she wields all these different powers and whatnot, and she's High Lady of the strongest and biggest territory in Perutheum. So Nesta is actually more of a priority. He needs Nesta back to fix the cauldron to be able to destroy the wall. Reese shows Feyre Cassian's memory of arriving at the library as well. He's very panicked and we don't see what Bryaxis looks like, but still, I can't wait.
Same. What do you picture?
I picture like a big black...
Shall I tell you what I picture?
Please do.
You know is it called the Balrog in Lord of the Rings?
Oh, yes.
The one with the horns.
You shall not pass.
Correct.
Yes.
That's what I picture.
Yes, big and black. Ish.
I just wanted to say before we moved on that Reese only knew that they were in trouble because Clotho had rung the spelled bell in the library that was like an alarm to all of them, and Cassian got there first.
Isn't it funny that Feyre didn't feel the bell? She's not included.
Yeah, maybe it's because it's a female
Well, Amren and Mor, maybe.
white flag. Like,
Yeah, I don't know.
yeah, I don't know. But
Interesting.
But yes, Balrog.
Yeah, Balrog. Done. That's it. That is exactly it. Yes.
Yeah, that's the image for the episode.
Yeah, done.
Yeah.
So Rhys approaches Feyre and he looks to her newly tattooed arm and he says, as long as we don't have to invite it to solstice dinner, I can live with it. Which is a little bit similar to what he said about the bone carver, where he was like, if he wants the good plates, he can have them.
Yeah. I love it how it's all about, like, there's monsters about.
Yeah, no worries.
We're from the trapdoor.
He turns to Cassian and he tells him that he needs to tell everybody to stay indoors tonight. The palaces will close early and anybody left on the streets will face the consequences of Amren on the hunt. She's a fucking monster too.
She is.
She is.
Yep.
They all gather in the sitting room at the townhouse to talk about what had happened, and Elain pipes up and adds no value to the conversation whatsoever. How very Elain. She says the queen might come. And everyone's like, here we fucking go. Why is she in the lounge room?
Put her in a cupboard.
Put her to bed. Honestly, put her to bed. Elain reminds me of, you know, when you have small children and they try and have a conversation with you, but everything they know, you already know.
Yes.
So you're just like, there's no value add here whatsoever.
Yeah. Circa last night at dinner.
Correct.
Whatever Lila was saying.
Yeah. Yeah.
Sure, darling. Shush now.
Yes.
Mummy's got sushi in front of her.
Yes. So that's what Elain reminds me of. She
Yes.
just adds, she's like talking to a small child.
Yeah.
There's just no,
Or
they just chatter. It doesn't make sense.
or a demented old lady.
Yes. Yeah. Either.
Same context.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They do assume that Elain is talking about the queen that was cursed by the cauldron, the young queen that is now withered. And Elain clarifies that is not who she's talking about. Asriel finally puts everything together and figures out that the cauldron had actually made Elain into a seer, which is interesting because Elain went into the cauldron first. And bitter as she is, she's gifted Elain a gift, right? Elaine's gone in and it's gone, no worries. Not only will I make you tall, beautiful, alluring,
devastating,
and immortal,
Yeah.
I will also make you a seer.
Yes.
And Elaine's gone, oh, thank you very much.
Yes. Now I can see everything.
Yeah.
But I will make no sense.
And then Nesta's gone in and been like, abso-fucking-lutely not.
Yeah.
And taken a whole bunch of shit and off she fucks. And now the cauldron's pissed. So maybe the cauldron before Nesta has been nice.
Look, yes.
Like, what did Elain ever give it for it to make her beautiful, tall, alluring seer?
Demure.
So
it's the
in
wheeze.
right now.
It's the wheeze for me though.
My collapsed lungs really,
it's
coming
really
back to haunt me, isn't it?
Really needing detentioning.
I need my asthma puff.
You almost do.
I'm getting all hot and bothered by Elain.
By Elain. Okay. So Elain says the sixth queen is alive. The one they lied and said was ill. She said they sold her to some darkness, some sorcerer lord. She says she cannot see what he is. So she has limitations to her seeing abilities, right? She's not like the fucking oracle of all things. And also she needs to get her shit together because like it's okay to be a seer, but can you be useful? Talking in riddles, not particularly useful.
I hate riddles.
Yeah, same.
Not for me.
Not for me. It's like the cryptic crossword. Sorry. Give me the straight clues.
Yeah, okay. I've never done a cryptic crossword.
If you want to look at something and know exactly what it not is meaning, look at the cryptic crossword clues.
Is it like in the paper or like online or?
I mean, isn't that where the crosswords are in the paper? Do they, you know?
I don't know. They stopped getting the paper delivered
Magazines?
at work, so I don't know.
Yes, that's how. Anyway, moving on. So she says this sorcerer lord possesses a onyx box and he keeps other girls like the queen by day in one form and by night another. A firebird by day and a human by night. Elain says the queen is near a lake deep in the continent, hidden amongst the mountains and forests. This sorcerer lord keeps all of the girls at this lake, but the other women are different. They have white feathers. The sixth queen is young, mid-20s, and is known as Vassa. She must pose a threat to the other queens if they have turned on her. If they can find her, she may be vital in convincing the human forces to fight. So Lucien...
He offers to go. Well, actually, Mor offers or wants to go first. So
Yes.
Mor remembers that Vassa came from a place called Scythia
Yes.
and that they are horse people.
Yeah.
So they have a mounted cavalry for their army. And she tries to argue with Rhys to go, but Rhys is like, no, not you. You're vital here. Feyre is about to pipe up and be like, all right, I'll go. And then Lucien volunteers.
Yeah.
And he explains that his metal eye, told you, metal eye can see things that other things can't. Spells, glamours, and then he trails off. I'm sure it sees more than that, but anyway.
Yes, definitely.
He thinks that he may be able to find Vassa and ask for her aid, and he's aiming to either sway the mortal army from supporting Highburn in the first place or finding Vassa and convincing her/her army to support the Fae. So they're essentially splitting because all of those six queens would have a territory.
Yeah.
And what they're doing is they're trying to get Vassa's army, but they could potentially get some of the other queens as well because you never know, right?
That's right.
He plans to leave first thing in the morning after breakfast.
Of course. Need some sustenance before you
It's
travel.
Lord of the Rings. Isn't it?
Yes.
First breakfast, second
11sies.
breakfast. Yeah. They all leave the room, leaving Elain and Lucien together in the sitting room. I mean, he's leaving in the morning, so they are trying to leave them alone and give them some privacy. And this is the first time it actually happens without like Nesta hovering or someone hovering. Like in last episode, we talked about them drinking the mint tea by the bay window. This time we don't learn anything about what happens during that conversation.
No.
Nesta goes into her room, shuts the door. Feyre and Rhys go into their room and shut the door, and everyone else is vamoose.
I love that, and I would love a Lucien POV. Thank you, Sarah. Thank you so much.
Yeah. I actually feel really sorry for Lucien
So
because
do I.
he's had quite a rough life.
Yeah.
And like what happened with Jasminda.
Yeah.
And he's finally found Elain, and she was taken from him, like straight up taken from him 5 minutes after he said that she was his mate.
Yeah.
And then he's just back with her. She's insane and has zero interest in him at the moment. And so he's kind of torn. He's like, well, I want to be helpful because going and fight, finding an army and them convincing them to fight against Highburn is being useful for not only the Night Court but for everybody. But also he's like, I'm not really getting anywhere with her. Like he's only had a few interactions with her. She has no interest in spending time with him.
That's right. And
So I
and this
feel-
is his solution. Is like,
Yeah.
okay, this is my grand gesture
Yeah.
to Rhys
Yeah.
and all of them to do something that also Elain is involved in. So it's like, okay, well, like, does absence make the heart grow fonder? Like, is she going to be less Elain with Lucien gone? Lucien's going to go and try and succeed here so that he can have like family like ties.
Yeah.
So it's a lot.
So Amren finds no other Highburn assassins that night, but Mor does share with Feyre that the people of Valaris painted the thresholds of their houses in lamb's blood. They also left cups of it on their doorstep as an offering, which is just such a godly reference.
Yeah.
Again, with Amren. We talked last episode about her being query, fallen angel, all that sort of stuff. But another very godly to paint your threshold in blood of a sacrificed animal.
Yes. And also, how's she going to get through all that blood?
Yeah. And leaving an offering. Cultures still do that today.
That's
leave
right.
offerings
Yep.
all the time. So yeah, it's a very religious thing to
It
do.
is. Yeah.
Feyre stands in the doorway of the foyer watching Lucien finalise his clothing and his pack for the journey. Rhys offers Lucien his hand to winnow him to the human realm. And what I found funny about this was he offers his hand and Lucien takes it and then turns and sees Elain at the top of the stairs. He then bows to her, straightens, and then turns back to Rhys. Now, Elain takes half a step towards him, but then they winnow. But he's holding Rhys's hand that whole time. So, like, it's not a short period of time to like take his hand and then look around. Oh, and then you do a dramatic bow. Like it's 10 or more seconds, isn't it?
It's at least 30 seconds.
Like you could have let go, bowed, and then turned around and grabbed his hand.
Yeah.
No.
And Rhys also could have let go. What do we think this means, though? Do you think that Elaine's starting to like want to talk to Lucien? What is it like? What was that half step about, bitch?
I think Lucien and Elain get together. I think Lucien has a happy ending. Sarah is a fan of happy endings, and I think they do get together. I mean, I would love it if it was Asriel. There's been lots out there about, you know, what's going to happen. I think Eris is involved somehow too. I don't think it's anything dramatic like Lucien dying and then Asriel and then Elain finding another mate or anything like that. I don't think Sarah would kill off a character like Lucien, but I do think that they get together, and I do think that there's this intrinsic thing in Elain that she would feel the bond, but she's quite overcome by her seer powers. She doesn't have control of it yet. Yeah, and when they do find out that she's a seer, there's a moment where Elain sort of says, "Is this what that is?" So she clearly comes like in and out. Yeah. Like there's times she's not just like being strange all the time. Yeah. It's just when she's having a vision, she's insane. And when she isn't, she isn't. Yeah. So I actually think that she does feel the pull towards him. And maybe, you know, sometimes identifying it is half the battle. So maybe now that she knows what she is, it's not as scary and therefore she's more accepting of it. And, you know, we learn throughout this that acceptance of who you are is a big part of accepting and controlling your powers, just like with Feyre. We will see it with Nesta. We will see it with multiple characters. So I think that that's where Elaine's at and I hope they do get together.
So do I.
I hope for a happy ending.
I am team Elain and Lucien. I do find that this whole part of, like I've said it before, this Elaine's boring character journey reminds me of Bran in Game of Thrones and the three-eyed raven, and he was like just this nothing, like this shell of a person who was like a quadriplegic and had to be, you know, shipped around on Hodor's back and had this seeing ability. So like I think that whilst it is an important part of the story, it's also the worst part of the story. Like there's more good stuff to come for her. We've been through the boring bit. That's right. That's what makes me worry about the next one, because I know that maybe it'll be Elain.
Yeah, okay.
You know, because like we've had the others.
Yeah, and I feel like when you have a book that's based around someone, you still get the boring part. Because remember also Elain we've been Feyre, we've been Nesta, and we will be Elain. So she's done a bit of character development already, but she's already been around. So we already know a lot about her personality, but it doesn't mean that her book will like kick off with her being instantly different.
She's not going to all of a sudden be
how
fun.
She is and her progression.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah, so it's going to be a bit of a snore if it is about that.
I think so to begin with, Yeah. So Feyre waits for Rhys to get back after his little hand-holding journey with Lucien. He does. He returns and they're standing in the foyer having a little chat. And then Amren just kicks the door in and informs them that Highburn has attacked the Summer Court, specifically Adriata. Cassian and Asriel arrive at the townhouse and they start to discuss the Summer Court's army, like what their numbers are, where they're stationed in the court, you know, blah, 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 essentially to make an assessment as to whether they're going to survive this attack on Highburn. Rhys asks Amren exactly what the message was that she received from Prince Averion. Hello. And she said, it was a warning from Varian to prepare our own defences. And everyone's like,
sorry, what?
Was it now? And she, like they're all looking a bit shocked and Amren's a bit embarrassed and she says, it is a thing that friends do.
Friends with serious benefits, I might add.
Like I had known that they sort of had a little thing from when they'd gone to the Summer Court in Mist and Fury, but this is the first time that we've heard from Varian since then.
That's right.
He did send her a necklace to soften the blow of the blood ruby. Yes,
that's right.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, that was cute.
Anyway, they all agree that they can't leave the summer court to face Highburn alone. Rhys, Cassian and Asriel go to the summer court first, and Feyre and Mor wait for Rhys's order to follow them. They're standing in the foyer dressed for battle. Interestingly, Nesta comes out and sort of looks them up and down and says, "Are you going to fight?" And Feyre's like, "Yeah." And Nesta says something along the lines of, "What do you know of battle?" And then Mor gets defensive and she's like, "We know enough." And then they winnow away from her, which is a bit of a narky remark from Mor. But also I think it's Nesta realising that she could do so much more.
Yes.
Like that she's being a bit of a,
Elain.
Yeah. And Elain. Like she's weighing them down. Like she could be fighting too.
Yeah, absolutely.
For this court
Yeah.
that she has been welcomed into and made a part of and is now vital to. And I feel like it was her sort of being like, "Are you fighting?"
Yeah.
And
As in,
Feyre being like,
I should be fighting.
yeah,
but
and I
didn't
think
get that.
she'd realised that maybe she should be part of that too rather than just cowering back. Because in this instance, Amren stays with Nesta and Elain in Valaris, which she does often stay. The only time that we know that she's left was when they went to the summer court.
Yes.
Every other time they've left Valaris, it's leaving Amren to watch it. So I feel like, Nesta, it was the first point of her being like, "Oh, maybe I should be fighting." Anyway.
Shit. Yeah.
So Mor winnows them to a small hill where they survey the battle. Mor notices that no other courts have come to help the summer court, but she also notices that the spring court isn't fighting with Highburn. Mor tells Feyre that they are to go to the palace. Highburn's soldiers have reached its northern side and their defences are surrounded.
Yeah. So I love this part of the book. I'm going to read a little bit of it because it's about Mor and Feyre's exchange and bravery. "We stick close, you don't get out of sight," Mor said smoothly and precisely. "We don't go down a hall or stairwell without assessing first." And then Feyre goes on to say that she wished she had some water. Her mouth is like bone dry. Mor says to her, "If you can't bring yourself to make the kill," she added without a hint of judgment, "then shield me from behind." And Feyre says, "I can do it. The killing. I've done plenty of it that day in Valaris." I love that because Feyre's still got that human heart element.
Yeah.
But she knows she's killed this, that and the other. But like we talked about earlier, war is different. They're staring down the barrel of a ship full of warriors that they have to kill together.
Yeah.
So it's heavy.
Yeah, it's different than trials and
Definitely.
saying you're alone doing this and you have to do it. It's more like you're killing anyone wearing that colour or that insignia on them. End of story. Doesn't matter about where they've come from or what they've done or what they are. You're just killing everybody.
That's right.
Everybody except each other. So I love that Rhys leaves Feyre with Mor in these circumstances. You'll remember that Mor went with Feyre to the cauldron to begin with. Anytime that he either can't be there for whatever reason, he leaves Feyre with Mor. And I love that because they're besties. In bad situations, they're besties.
Yeah.
And it's lovely for them. So they winnow to the palace and they note that the high fae are barricading themselves in the upper levels whilst the lesser fae, who don't have very much magic between them, are left defenceless in the lower levels. Mor and Feyre begin descending towards them. That's it for this episode of the Night Shift Court podcast. Join us again next week where we will continue the adventure of ACOWAR's Book 3, A Court of Wings and Ruin.
Whichever platform you're listening on, we would so appreciate a 5-star review. You can follow us at The Night Shift Court on Instagram, Facebook and TikTok.
I hope the night is kind.